It's been probably one of the busiest times in my career at the moment. Yeah, as you say, lots of change. We've also got new sponsorships, as you say, that will come out in the next kind of month or so. The kits obviously get released, but there is, like I say, a lot of infrastructure projects. We've got some really exciting things that I think are going to be quite visual at Carrow Road next year when people come back in. And they're going to go, wow, okay, that's new, and all of that has to be done. There's a strict deadline with Premier League criteria that ensures that it's all done before we kick that first competitive ball. So, no, we're all working pretty much full throttle. So yeah.
And technically, you've got things like VAR to contend with. Is that the club's responsibility? Do you have to do things behind the scenes here to make sure that all works on the first day of the season?
Well, yeah, and also how do we communicate it to fans in stadia? I think was probably my biggest question mark. And we've been working with the Premier League around how we do that using our big screen, and ensuring that from a VAR perspective, it's a very controversial kind of subject in general, but it's happening. It's going to work. It's going to be implemented into the game. So we've got to make sure the in stadia piece is as informative as it can be, and we've worked out a process of how that can happen, as has a lot of other football clubs in the Premier League as it's being introduced. So exciting times, and yeah, we haven't really got time to do much else at the moment apart from all of the long list of jobs that we've got.
You mentioned there you were at the Premier League shareholders meeting last week. Was that a moment when it sort of hit reality a little bit of the club's promotion and what's ahead?
Kind of, but also the EFL have a similar kind of meeting. So from my perspective, it's sort of business as usual. So when I went, it was enjoyable to network with colleagues where we can learn from. But equally, you know, we've got our own kind of in stadia issues that we need to deal with here to ensure that we're ready for the Premier League. A lot of them clubs don't. So there was a lot of debate. It was very healthy, and I think we deserve our place at the table. So no, I think we added an opinion there from a promoted club, but ultimately I don't think we felt overawed or out of place. We were enjoying contributing.
There's a lot of talk about the jump on the pitch in terms of between the Championship and the Premier League. What's that jump like off the pitch? With everything you're dealing with now, what is that jump like?
Yeah, it's more criteria driven at this stage of the year. We have to make sure that we match and all of our Premier League criteria. That's probably sort of 28 to 30 projects over the course of the summer that need to be implemented before the 10th. And that not only does it give you a tight time frame, it also means that there's a quite a large investment piece there, that you may get a lot of money from going into the Premier League, but you also have to spend a fair chunk of that on ensuring that your stadium is fit for purpose. A lot of it the fans unfortunately won't see, but we'll make sure that we sort of communicate what them changes have been, and there's some that are really, really visual that the fans will see. So a lot of hard work, and I have to admit the team behind the scenes here and over at Colney have been phenomenal, and they're working very, very hard to ensure that we put on the best show that we can when Premier League football returns.
One more, and it's a bit left field, so I apologise for throwing it out there. We had a lengthy chat with Stuart Webber the other week, which was great. He said out of his own situation is probably the least important out of all of them, but I think a lot of fans sort of ears pricked up and realised how important Stuart Webber is to the club. So is there a point at which you look at his future and how long you can secure him for, reward him for the job he's done, that sort of thing?
It's interesting because we're a team, so we don't really look at individuals, and I think Stuart would say the same himself. I think Stuart couldn't do what he does without the phenomenal team that he's got around him. I certainly couldn't, Zoe couldn't, and the senior management team and all of the staff at Carrow Road and Colney. This is a proper team effort, like it was on the pitch, with whether you're the captain, whether you're the right back, it doesn't really matter. So I actually think it's just speculation, and I think naturally you're going to get good press, you're also going to get bad press, and I think Stuart's level-headed enough to know that there are good times, there are bad times. We're all committed to the club, why wouldn't we be? We just got promoted, and we want to now take on some of the biggest teams in the country. So I don't think it's about an individual, I think it's about the collective, and I think it's about a group, and I'm sure he would say exactly the same thing, and I'm quite certain that we're all very, very committed moving forward. So yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? And it's where we all want to be. And if I'm honest, I think over at Colney, and here at Carrow Road. I think everyone's really excited and ramped up. Load of the work to be done before we kick a ball competitively against our first opposition on the 10th, whether it's home or away. But for me, I'm probably focused more so on ensuring that the processes are in place, the infrastructure's up to speed, because there's a lot of projects that we've got to do over this close season. So there's certainly been no holidays for a lot of the staff as we're frantically trying to make sure that we're ready for Premier League football.